I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start by reorganizing. The motion, President.
Will you, David?
Yes, second. You, David?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I got a motion for Vice President.
Isn't it? You want to keep that? Motion, Larry.
Larry? The second. Second. All in favor? Aye. What else is there, Morgan?
Liaisons?
Liaisons. Who wants to be where?
I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
Whatever.
Guys up next.
So you're gonna do wastewater, water?
Yeah.
I'll work with you.
That's David and Larry? Okay.
Police.
Now, will the police also be the fire, since we've got a new?
Let's separate those if we could.
That's fine.
Usually, they've been separated in the past.
I just didn't know since it's both gonna be.
Right.
That way they get a little more time with different.
That's fine.
Who wants to do the police?
I'm gonna say I feel like I need to stay away from the fire department for,
So
You're gonna do the
two?
police? Ralph's gonna, said he'd do the police.
The fire?
I can do police
With
with
him?
Ralph if you want me
Okay.
to.
The fire.
Tammy, I mean Christie.
Krista? Who else? You, Ralph?
I can't. So, did Christie say that's okay? For fire, Christie?
You're right with that,
Fire.
Christie.
Okay, and then we have Elaine, I don't know what you consider that, office?
I can get on lane.
Maybe for another year
anyway.
Okay. Anything else, Morgan?
I'll take a day off, okay.
The park. Oh, park.
Park.
Who wants to do the park?
I don't mind staying involved in the park. Somebody else wants to do it with me.
I'll continue to work with the redevelopment part of it.
Okay.
But since you really want to do something, be with it, see it.
Okay. What else you got, Morgan?
For me personally, HSA, are we still doing that for everybody? All of our employees?
What did we put in last year?
It's been 3,000 the last 3 years maybe. And then we did up they are paying 30% on their insurance, which costs them a little bit more.
I vote to keep it the same.
Okay.
I don't know what everybody else.
$3K a year.
Yep.
What's Pat, you? This one's a motion. Okay. Your motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. And one other thing, I might add to that, we get behind on, building maintenance. For all these buildings in town, because it's hard to keep up. You know what I'm trying to say?
Like town-owned buildings?
Yeah, I mean, you got, when something's wrong, somebody just needs to kind of take that, but, because we got the fire department still, we got a thing to do here. We got that building over at the
Granny.
Brady building.
Dog's Hall.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff happens at the hall. Who wants to mess with this? Okay, Ralph, who else?
I definitely would like to stay involved in the new community building.
Ralph and Tammy?
Got it.
Anything else?
Was anybody gonna help Tammy with the park, or is it just Tammy?
Yeah.
He's doing
I'll-
it, he's doing it through like redevelopment,
Okay, I
I
just,
can.
but if I need him,
Is that it, Marty?
yes. Press release. We're gonna do, that's you and Tammy.
yes, I'll hire release.
Got 3 sets of minutes. I don't remember which one's the first.
So you got December 11th, the normal meeting.
Right?
Yes.
I was not here that night, so that was the night where I went on the ventilator.
I make a motion to pass the minutes as written.
All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Then we got
Then you've got an executive safety board meeting December 18th.
That's. Move to approve as written.
second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then you have a special meeting December 18th.
Move to approve as written.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Then we've got claims.
Move to approve. Paid bills.
Second.
Second, Tammy. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. We got old business. Your training buildings, got some of the stuff out of it, right?
And they were waiting on the frame for the bottom,
He's supposed to be calling me next week, so.
for the, to make that
Handicap
door
accessible.
handicap accessible. Yeah, put in a new frame
That upstairs.
downstairs.
Downstairs.
Because the new French doors, the new glass doors have a
Riser.
riser on them, and so we voted, it was gonna cost us, what, like $1,800? And we
To make
voted
it-
on that.
Make it 88. Rick done anything upstairs?
Everything got started on it. Actual.
Really like to commend the guys on the job they done snow plowing.
They had a good job.
Yeah. 2 times they went to the neighborhood, didn't they?
They were,
I'm glad they waited on that second time. Holy cow, because I was out at the same time shoveling, they were coming through. Okay, get done, next morning I get up, and it's back again. Shortly after I got done shoving my driveway through, they come plowing through, so it was well timed, well done, good work.
I mean, that salt you guys switched to, a lot better salt we've been using.
I've even had community members tell me what a great job you guys did in keeping that plowed, so.
We appreciate it, definitely pass that over to the guys.
Yeah. I ran into somebody in Greenfield yesterday and they told me you guys did an amazing job, so.
Appreciate it, Dave. Okay, old business, new business. Dave's got something?
I have something. I'm sure you know, past few years I've coached for the sixth grade team. I stepped away from that, and I'm volunteering with the Boys and Girls Club this year, coaching a basketball team. I'm coming to ask for a sponsorship of $150 for the team to help with uniforms and such like that. We're just asking if the town would be interested in providing that sponsorship.
Let's make it real, double that.
Dave, how many sponsors you got?
I don't know how many sponsors are all together. I know Austin asked me if, the town would be interested, and I said I would come and ask. He said he was still looking for more sponsors as well too, so I don't know how many he has currently or how many they're looking for together, but
How many kids do you have?
I have 8 kids on my team,
8 kids, okay.
so
It's like kindergarten through preschool through 5th grade.
preschool, yeah. They're combining 3rd through 5th grade, and that's when I'm coaching, so I've got 8 kids, and I don't know what grades they're all in, but I just know I have 8.
You put your name on the shirts?
Yeah,
Girls, we did it before a couple of years ago when I coached a team. It just said Town of Morristown, so all the kids will wear their t-shirt that presents that you guys.
Could you do a Morristown gold and a Morristown?
They could probably do 2 different teams in 2 different age groups, like a
Yeah.
Town of Morristown for the little kids and a Town of Morristown for the big kids. If you're trying to do 2 teams.
Give them at least $300. 8 of them, nice kids with nice jersey.
Yeah.
One motion to that, like $300.
So sponsor 2 teams.
Ralph seconded. Any other discussion on Dave and these 2 teams? Or all in favor?
Aye.
I appreciate it. I'll let Austin know you're giving a sponsorship for 2 teams, so.
As long as they don't play each other.
No, I think, okay, I'll make sure of that. I'll say it's for the younger kids and the older kids, so, thank you.
Okay, any other new business? And Morgan already got the HSA, anything else? Okay. Brian,
Did we have some issues?
go ahead.
Usually the first report of the year, we didn't have any extra money left over after bills are all paid.
All of our stuff was in the green. Yes, we still have money left over. It just, I reappropriated with the budget.
Okay.
So like they just looked at last year, the last couple of years to do this year's, which we just got all the paperwork signed. So we're gonna start the annual report.
Okay. Usually, there was something that Donna could bring up about,
Yeah, I think I signed something for Greg Garitas tonight to start doing something. Whatever he does.
Yeah, we have money in all the budget appropriations, but I can print whatever they tell me to. I'm just waiting.
it was something you had to do by law in reporting your budget or your spending. There wasn't anything that came up that went over what you did. So. There's no government.
Yeah, it was, I can't remember exactly what you called it.
Yeah.
I can find out so that I can bring that to the next meeting, but I didn't present anything last year. After Donnie's,
It was like a year-end thing or something.
Yeah.
I'm working on the year end now. I wonder if it's something after I complete it.
Maybe that's what it is. I just didn't know what the timing of it was.
Because I've got one report that's due by the end of this month and then we're
Okay.
starting the rest of it. So maybe it's something when that's done.
Probably in your docket.
It's like a whole checklist.
Okay, okay,
But I've got the financial solutions. They're gonna help me with that.
good.
You know,
I don't care.
one other thing I think I asked you about, I meant to ask you soon. In a Craney building, we've got 20,000 or so left in there.
Just from that donation, I mean, we can use it from other buckets, but that initial $100,000 donation, it was like 23 or 24,000.
We still owe some more on the windows too, don't we?
Yeah, we haven't paid,
Right, so that's not out of.
we haven't paid any of that yet, have we? Not even
One thing it would be nice to know is how much it would actually take us to do that top the way you want to do it. And then we get that done.
My court's coming out next week, I'll give us a price
Try to get a couple of estimates and.
Get a couple and we'll go from there,
Because
but
our, I mean, just if we get that flooring ripped up, it didn't cost a ton to get our floors done.
that would be nice.
Yes, it did.
Have that.
I like what we did.
We could do
We could do something as nice as that.
if we could do the top of that by spring, well, we're still gonna have to work on some concrete sidewalks and stuff.
Oh, yeah, you got all that.
So Dave don't fall in.
Yeah.
So Dave doesn't fall down.
Or fall out the back door. I'm kind of trying to.
Well, it's front door at the north end.
I haven't fell yet. Close. They tell me once you fall and break your hip, you're about done. I had a guy explain to me the other day that if you break your hip, Alzheimer's will set in soon.
There's actually medical research that supports that.
Really?
That any traumatic injury in an elderly individual can accelerate dementia.
He was actually telling me that.
I'm working on that on my own. I don't need help.
We can help with that.
So. Okay,
Sometimes.
you're up.
All right, I have given you a memo, and I have identified just a few bills that have been offered or filed in the legislature that are of potential interest in municipal government. There are some other bills that would fall into the municipal classification, but they're so esoteric and issue specific, I didn't see that they had much relevance to Morristown. There's a summary of these bills here. The one that is maybe of some interest that I thought is a decent idea, and I'll explain it, it's Senate Bill 95. Basically, it says that if a municipal entity, political subdivision hires a law enforcement officer and then pays for training of that officer, if they leave that department within 3 years, there's a payback provision on the training. Now, it reduces each of the 3 years. And if they go to another public police force, I'm going to call it, it doesn't apply.
It is not reimbursed.
Yeah, in other words, you go from Morristown to Greenfield, statute doesn't apply. You go from Morristown to Acme Security, then there is a recoupment of your training costs. There's a bill on annexation, which is pretty esoteric. It talks about condemnation. Well, the annexation just continues with requirements. Over the past 8 to 10 years, there has been a trend toward limiting unfettered annexation. What the statutes really promote now is what I've always called, and real estate lawyers call, super voluntary annexation, where the owners come and say, we want to be a part of you. If you say we want to annex and there's not interest on the party annexed to be annexed, it is a more complicated process. Much of the bill, still adoption of fiscal plan and so on, so that's all routine stuff. The Senate Bill 128, that's on condemnation. Senate Bill 39 could be of interest, allows a municipal legislative body, UCO, to adopt a resolution for a referendum on capital projects related to parks, municipal park district. Now, again, I would stress, these are bills that have been introduced. Some may die along the way, all may die along the way. But I will continue to keep an eye on the legislature to determine how they may help you or hurt you.
Brian, when they start the property tax bill, there could be an effect to us there.
I have been looking at that. thus far, I have not seen a bill introduced that makes any radical changes other than decelerates the pace of assessment.
Decelerates the pace of assessment. Okay, that's good.
That's shorthand. I'll cover that one at our next meeting.
Okay.
Have to be fucking loud.
Greg Garitas is the one who told me to get ready for it, because it's gonna happen.
Well, again, the last round of assessments, in many cases dramatically increased property taxes. And actually, there was a lot of blowback to that. So, what we're seeing in a smaller scale is an impetus to again engage in property tax reform. I mean, the big reform created the 1, 2, 3 stair-step approach to assessment, moved assessment to fair market value, kind of, sort of. And, well, I mean, assessed value generally doesn't square with fair market value, but it's far more realistic than it used to be. So it remains to be seen. I might talk to Greg sometime and see what
He
his-
tells me it's a mandate for the governor and.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're an elected official and you get a few thousand nasty letters and phone calls, you're trying to do something.
It's front and center, as he called it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
One of the proposals is to move it back to 2021 immediately.
Well, I do find this stuff interesting. When I was in college in the political science major, we had to read a book called The Dance of Legislation. And that's very much what it is. I mean, cities and towns are not without a voice.
Right.
And so, depending on what this looks like, you may want to lobby your elected officers. Because, I mean, you go back to 2021's assessed valuation.
In my world, property taxes are out of control.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I got the letter from my mortgage company saying, here's your new house payment, I was like, what the hell happened? Well, it's all property tax.
I think ours went up 30% this year.
Yeah,
Haven't got the letter yet.
But they need to do something.
yeah. Well, it's a balance between what is rational to provide relief for property owners in the state of Indiana and not strangle municipal government. Pardon me?
I'd rather put a few more cents on the sales tax as I would continue to raise them. Then I have a choice whether I buy or not.
That's true. That is true.
We'll see, you'll check in.
I will follow it. It's always interesting to follow these things and how the sausage is made.
Okay. Brad.
Before Brad starts, I'll make one other quick comment. The reason we're not seeing that much on that legislation yet is, practically speaking, when the legislature is going to make a big move, they generally don't put it out front early in the session. So I would see that bill drop right before the deadline for filing and passing from one body to another. Thank you for your patience, Chief.
No problem at all. First off, I just want to start off, as far as the process goes, when we want to start that. My kind of thought process was to try and get everything kind of in line in January and then start a process at the beginning of February. It was kind of my idea that we get everything lined up. With that, how many officers are we looking for? Are we looking for 2 full-times and a part-time, 1 full-time and a part-time? Do we have an idea of what we're looking for?
I know you gotta have one and part-time to cover the hours we need to cover.
With that being said, I just forwarded a contract for review to Brian that the school sent me, and they were looking to offer us a 70-30 split on a full-time school resource officer
When did you send that?
just now.
Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't see it today.
So I just did a quick read through on it, and essentially what they would do is we would figure the total cost of the officer, salary, insurance, equipment, and vehicle, and we would split it into 4 payments to equal 70% paid by the school. And we would pay 30% of that.
And they would work when school's not
They
in
would,
session.
yeah, whenever they are not at the school, school's not in session, then they work regular hours with us. And I read in the contract, it says 35 hours a week, which means they would have 5 hours to work every week anyway to make their 40 with the town. We would have full control of the officer. They would fall under our SOPs, all of our operating procedures.
Is that during the summer too?
Yes, yeah, so it'd be but they would,
So
they
they
would
want
split the
them
bill.
8 to 3 or 7:30 to 3:30 at the school. I've been asked this too. I told them, bring it to 7:30 to 3:30, 180 days at the school. And then we would have them summer break, fall break, Christmas break, the weekends.
Yep,
Is that gonna,
no school, you know, if
is
there's,
that gonna facilitate the needs of the town, other than school?
Well, the idea would be if it's they pay 70 and we pay 30, then we could use them as, and then still get another full-time person.
Get a
They would pay-
full-time.
They're gonna pay,
I wouldn't
pay
mind
most
that.
of its benefits.
because that was kind of my thought process on it, is that we would
Okay.
essentially we are paying full price, but they would be essentially we look at them as a
Subsidized.
part-time officer. And we could even ask that, you know, they work the days off during the week to fill the day off of an officer, or, you know, vacation time. It may not be 8 hours, it could be 4 hours or 5 hours or something like that. We would just handle it as an overtime issue or something along those lines is how we would handle that.
Silly question, we're going to history. The hours worked by this officer at school and maybe 5 hours a week. What are we counting as hours worked for the town? The full boat?
So interesting enough, it actually says.
We're not gonna
in the-
go 5 years and have 70 hours worked for the town.
They would be 40 hours a week, is what it would work out to, and then we would have 5 hours to play
Like
with.
I would pay them 40 hours a week.
That's.
And the
that's
town
what-
would give us, or the school would give us 70% of all of their,
So they're getting, yeah, so the person gets the credit for 40 hours work.
Yes. Yeah, we would add in, like I said, maybe 2 2-hour shifts or 1 4-hour shift a week, or every other
Yeah.
weekend, or, you know, something like that to build up that.
And then
make
we
it
got the
40.
summer, we'd have more utilization.
Yep.
Right. You gotta keep them busy.
Because
But
we're
then
still
again-
getting that, they're paying 70%
they
of
will
this
be our
year's
employee.
Yes.
wages.
But the school just wants them when school's in session. If that's what I was.
Well,
that's me,
and I need to say, I received this contract at 7:08 p.m.
What do you think?
And I'm looking at it now.
So if you, the way the school works on their time off now, it's 2 weeks off here, maybe in the long.
We had like 2 weeks for Christmas, we had like a week and a half for fall break, we have spring break, that's like a week and a half, and then it's like a 10-week summer.
Is there an issue with fulfilling those hours for that person when they're not working for the school? Is there any scheduling issues there? Sounds like it could be.
We could essentially make an additional shift,
During those-
like an early morning
Like we
shift.
haven't had school the
or a-
last 3
or a-
days.
Yeah, a late afternoon, or, now, no, I know from dealing with other agencies, something they've ran into, and you have to be careful of with these type of contracts, something we'd have to work out, is that when they work these type of deals, that when it comes time for summer, they like take their vacations, and school and spring breaks, take their vacations, so then you are paying for them, but you're not getting to utilize them because they're on vacation. So that's just something we would have to
But
work out.
7% being covered anyways.
Yeah, so that's something we'd have to work out to.
Okay.
I will review this contract right away. It's 11 pages, so that's not much. I noticed it's a PDF, and so I probably will contact the superintendent and ask him to send me a Word version.
Yep.
And I'll give you probably an overview of the contract and maybe make some proposed revisions if I feel necessary. The big thing I see is exactly as Morgan and the chief have said. the SRO suddenly becomes a town employee, pure and simple, not an employee of the school corporation. Town hires, fires, selects, et cetera.
Because they're subcontract now. They're not school employees. They're contracted.
And it even says there's a disciplinary issue. If there's an internal disciplinary issue, then it comes to it. We are made aware of it. They can be removed as an SRO, and then they come back here as our employee to handle that also.
Yeah, I'll get that.
So I just
Okay.
would take.
Is the concept all right with everybody here?
Concept is nice. So okay, so we're looking to hire basically 2 full-timers.
Including that one.
Oh, yeah, with that, yeah,
Yes.
with that, it's 2
Because
extra.
he would, that one would be a part-time for
Right.
us, full-time in the summer, a part-time employee.
Or technically, I guess we would technically even still have that part-time free on the paper if also, if we needed to fill a part-time for events and things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
We could still technically afford.
Let's see
Yes.
how this looks, and then I think you can set your protocols.
Yeah. And we already have a SROS SOP already. It's built
Okay.
into the book.
Okay.
So, which essentially says the same thing that says. So with that being said, in the pay,
Who hires the officer?
we do,
We do.
and we assign them.
What if they don't approve it?
It'd be an interesting thing to figure out. I would guess it'd be a mutual type of interview or something along those lines would be my
I'm sure
guess.
that's addressed in the contract, I just haven't gotten that far.
Okay. Just a
I
question.
don't know why.
In
Good question, though.
the 27
Well, if they don't
minutes.
like who you got, well, look what you got.
You ever heard of that Evan speed reading course?
You know, I like the phrase of the late great Coach Wood, be quick, but don't hurry.
There you go.
Now, the concept then fits.
Yes.
So then with the pay, we would stick then with what's Tom's pay was, or are we going to go to a different pay rate for a new officer?
That was the, yeah.
That's a question, because he was brought in as a 7-year experienced officer and given a pay scale. Are we sticking with that, or are we going to a different pay scale for a brand new officer?
Because I would think it would depend on how many years of experience this person has in law enforcement.
Well, what I'd like to do is seek a lateral also. So look for a lateral and a new officer. So if we have a lateral, then the next question would be, are we, from the research I've done, you either have, they give you the number of years that you have when you lateral in, or they give you a set number of years when you lateral in. So some departments only give you 3 years pay when you lateral in. Other agencies say you got the full academy, you've worked 7 years on the road, you come in here, 7 full years on the full-time years on the road, then you get equal to coming in here at that pay schedule. So that would be something that we would need to, because our benefit of a lateral is if we find a local that wants to lateral in, then they already know the prosecutor, they already know the paperwork, they already know the area, we can literally just go, here's the keys and work. If they're, have experience, then we're still gonna have a short field training time to get them used to the area and the paperwork, but it's also an accelerated time. With a brand new guy, we've got the whole training, we've got to build up our field training, we've got to bring them up to speed, we've got, some time that's invested in that individual. So we can look for both, or we can look just for laterals, or we can,
I kind of like the idea of a lateral and a newbie.
because I think it benefits it the most is we can get somebody here immediately, and then that gives us somebody to work on and maybe be here longer where we're.
Well, that's the time and the energy to put into that person.
I'd say if you got 2 laterals that are good, then that's better than one. You gotta go through the police academy and train. Sure.
And it hasn't been approved yet, but they are looking at the academy extending to 20 weeks. We're at 16 right now, so you get a new hire, they're gonna be gone for 20 weeks, so.
Half a year. It's almost half a year.
Yeah. I like this idea. 2 laterals. Can we be optional, depending upon the offers we get?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could accept
I think
both, we just
we
need
have to
to.
say, I have to say, we need to say, you know, what are you, what do we want you for? We've got a policy on what you are.
Because essentially, we have a new hire policy, but we don't have a lateral packet. We don't have anything that says,
If you're
you
this is that.
you lateral in here, this is what you get. All our stuff just says you're brand new, walked in the door, this is what you get.
This is what you get.
And I said, it varies by department. The average I've seen is 3 years. You come in at a 3-year officer pay, which means the first year you've been spent at the academy, the second year you've been on the road, your third year you've got your experience, so, you know, you come in and you have the ability to work.
So 3 years experience would be considered lateral.
That's usually the minimum I've seen is 3 years, but I've seen as much as,
So they could have more than that under their belt, but we're only gonna give them credit for 3
yes, we're only
years.
saying they're a 3-year officer, yeah.
So they could have 10 years experience, but if they lateral in, we're only gonna count 3 or 5 or whatever, you know, we set
Yeah,
that.
3, 5, or other agencies just say whatever you did here is what you come in over here.
And that determines your pay rate.
Yes. Yep, vacation, pay rate would be the 2 big ones.
Mhm.
Longevity would be a questionable one because they haven't been an employee for that full amount of time, so they would almost get a longevity of 1 year, and then,
Well, 3 or 5 years, you're probably gonna get younger guys than you would if guys wants to come in 10 years.
or they just know up front. I mean, they could have served 15 years at the department, they just know that when they come in here, this is the baseline, this is where
This is
you're,
where you
there's
start.
no, you know, no less than. We could go more than, but, you know, there's no less than on that.
Sheriff changes and.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's ready to.
Yeah.
So are you looking for like a number? Do you want that's what I'm like.
Because, yeah, that's just
So,
what
like,
we need to do. If we're gonna say lateral, there has to be something to put out there. for
Starting
somebody.
at
You know, we're gonna,
X amount of
yep,
dollars.
new officer gets paid X, lateral gets paid X. And because our insurance starts immediately, our HSA is deposited immediately, you know, all that stuff's already taken care of. We just need to know.
What was,
He was at 29.75.
Yep.
That was not a raise.
that was hourly.
Yes. Because that's what you made, I think.
I believe so.
So he would have been considered a lateral.
I was at $30 an hour and he was $29.75 considered a
Last
lateral.
year, yeah.
We had to maintain.
That was $61,880,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'd say maybe that for a lateral one would be new.
Yeah. For a lateral, come in at that rate, and then have to determine an entry, maybe an entry. Yeah, that's what we have to.
Yeah, but that's something we have to figure out.
When I run the Shelby County ones, the entry level label was 55 for a new start.
I think so. 52, 55, somewhere around in there.
Now, that's a new start, I believe, in it.
Yeah, and those numbers are all over the place now. I mean, I went through, before we hired Tom, I went through 40 departments that were being advertised on the academy, and I mean, starting pay was everything from $50,000 to $100,000 a year, walking in the door, brand new, no experience. So, I mean, the gamut is huge now. It's not like it used to be where everybody was 30 and.
Go west, and it's even more because of crowd flow. Saw that.
I mean, we are competitive at 60, you know, high 50s. low 60s, we are competitive with.
Started maybe at like 55. That way we got room to increment up. Lateral 61.
61, 880 is what the
61,
current.
880.
Yep.
Let's go that route.
Everybody all right with that?
Did you say 55, Larry?
Yeah.
If we do a lateral, the other thing I wanted to do is, I wanted to do an interview, an application, just like normal background checks for their employment history. And then, I want to do a physical agility. And I'm not talking the academy standards, I'm just saying that this is the standard. You don't have to meet the less than, the entry or the exit, you just have to show that you can get out of your car and physically move and not fall over on us, so I want to make sure that,
You gonna make her run around the track once?
Well, 1628 for a mile and a half, so all I would ask is that they would complete a mile and a half, either walking,
I might-
running, or.
Brad, I might class that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The standard's 25 push-ups, can you at least do push-ups, can you at least do set-ups, and not,
And you spell it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to show there's some type of ability to move and do the job.
And release.
And we might want to send them for physical.
We can do that, yeah.
I think it would behoove us to send them for physical.
And then, we don't have this currently, but I think it's something I'd like to add, and I'd like to find an SMP on it, is 90, 180, and 1-year evaluations. To make sure we're bringing them in and keeping up on what's going on. So, and that's regardless if it's a lateral or a new, that wouldn't change anything.
And report.
Yes.
Review and report.
Yep. And then for a new, same thing, but they're going to do the academy is changing the physical agility. So currently there is a set physical agility. As of the end of the current class, they're changing the physical agility to a practical agility, meaning that you climb a fence, jump a creek, drag a dummy, push a car, whatever. But they can't say what that's going to be yet and how we're going to test for that. So what they're saying is we should maintain the physical agility test as a standard, and then once they set that, because they don't know if they're going to have to do regional physical agilities, because you're going to have to set this course up.
Yeah.
And so not everybody's going to have the ability to set up this type of course within their agency. So they don't know if it's going to be regional, or if they're just going to say you can pass physical agility, so when you arrive at the academy, you should be able to perform these other duties. So I'd just like to stick with the current physical agility. It's a known standard, it's already there, it's easy to follow. So.
And if we do get if we had a new person, I'm saying new, we have to pay them during the gap.
Yes.
But if the Senate bill passes and they jump ship on you and they don't go to another approved department, then you can get up to the entire amount back, or at least the third or two-thirds.
So $500 is what it costs to send somebody to the academy right now.
Right. I don't think so.
And then insurance start date for a new person, is that going to be immediate, or is there a grace period when
We
they
haven't had a
start?
grace period before.
Okay.
When I came in, I was handed insurance papers when I started in 21.
That was you.
I think it was the same, was it the same for you, Dave, when you started on?
Yeah, you.
The only thing that took a minute was to get our vacation time, and they've changed that to 90 days. It used to be 6 months, and now you guys changed it to 90 days
To start accruing or getting.
to get it, yeah. That was the only, but I know our insurance was right when we came in.
State one.
Okay.
Okay. The renewal for the online training is coming up. I'm not 100% satisfied with it, but it is something handy that if we're short on hours, we can set in our car in the office and get some additional hours. It's not my favorite thing, but I think keep it one more year just to see how it goes and what the academy changes this year, and then reevaluate it at the end of next year.
How much is it a year?
Uh,
Do you remember?
We pay per license, so it's per officer. I'm trying to remember, I got it the other day, but do you remember when I forwarded it to you?
It wasn't very much.
It's like $150
Yeah.
or something like that per year. Now, the new vest that we just ordered, they haven't arrived yet. I did contact our rep, and he advised that when the new vest arrives, and if we hire somebody, they will recut the vest up to 2 inches. So we can resend it back in and get it retailored up to 2 inches. So that will help with that cost. We've already got that taken care of.
You have 3 Glocks and all that.
I got 4
Okay.
and 3 tasers, so we're good to go. Probably should order 1 more taser and 1 more body cam, just so we have a trade out in case something happens. We're going with a bare minimum on the tasers, but I think we should probably order 1 more of each. And then we're gonna need a shotgun, a rifle, also to make sure we're up to par with those in each vehicle.
There was a bill introduced that would preclude a municipality of passing an ordinance from prohibiting the possession of, quote, a battery-operated security device. I assume that might be a taser, but.
That's an electronic control device, ECW, is what that falls under.
So that was a bill well, that's interesting. What the bill was that?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out what that is.
A municipal entity could not pass an ordinance precluding the possession of such a device.
Interesting.
I didn't select it because I didn't think that was gonna be anything on Morristown.
If you don't know what it is, you never know. So yeah, that'll be the equipment, everything else will be the standard gun belt, uniform, the normal stuff that we.
I viewed the bill as sort of a don't be Seattle or Chicago bill, so.
Yeah, preempting. Okay, so outside of that, like I said, I want to get all that together this month and then start a process in February. And then do we want to do 30 days application process, or we want to go 60? That's putting us into March before we even look at
Do
somebody.
30 and see what you got.
Okay.
If we don't find that candidate, we can do another 30.
Extend it.
As you go through this process, Stephen Davis needs your help in putting something on the website for the fire.
Okay.
Because they have all their stuff in a row, we just
Yep.
need help with that.
Easy enough. Yep. I just need whatever they want posted, I can put it on there. That's easy. Okay, so our December stats, we had 33 calls. I took 16, Tom took 17, the sheriff's department took 63. Issued 5 warnings and citations. Tom had 0. Our total for 2024, we had 646 calls in Morristown. I took 418 of those. Shelby County took 635, so we actually took more calls than the sheriff's department this past year. Wrote 188 citations and warnings. Tom wrote 9. We had a total number of miles was, 14,371 for mine. Patrol was 10,199 miles. Personal mileage was 4,172, and of that, personal training miles was 2,666. Should have drove 1 more mile one day. Total gas use was 1,349.6 gallons. Personal gas was $246.66. We investigated 14 accidents, and we took 48 case reports last year.
Sounds busy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Busy.
yep, so we actually did some stuff last year. Any questions or anything?
You good?
All right, we'll get started on it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, water and wastewater, I commended the guys for the work they done. We're working with Bungie on their new water usage. I think we're gonna be all right on it from what Gary says. If not, we have to produce a letter to Bungie in St. Louis, and they might help us with the building of the tower. But we'd have to maintain it and run it, so. We'll just see what the numbers come out totally and go from there. Which is, if they would do that, that's great. So,
You may want to add the internet infrastructure into that also.
yeah, that's another thing. I don't understand this stuff because, you know, I'm not a laptop guy. But we've got something, I understand this. Our towers, we're looking at some different things here. If we brought 9-Star down the road, then we could do all the houses down there too.
Morrison?
But we have to put 9-Star at both towers. The Verizon's really giving us a problem.
It's not so much the Verizon, it's so much the signal. We have antennas inside concrete buildings, so it's just not the best way to do. And then of course, your issues to any cellular outages and things like that, which occur more than fiber outages.
But it's really creating issues at times. And Ralph, you know anything about the 9-Star stuff?
No, I think, Brian, did you ever get to talk to Mike?
I have not connected with him yet, and I want a little more information about where the gap or the non-service is. Because they're covering, my understanding is they're covering much of the town. But there's an area that should be covered that isn't.
We have 3 streets that are not.
Okay, can I just follow up with you on the 3 streets? Very good. That way I can talk a little more intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make sure if we get it, so the water tower's fixed up, that the houses can, because they should have been hooked up originally.
Yeah, well, I think they'll be receptive, and I know the president, and I know some of their senior people, and I know many of their board members, so.
Well, it's, part of it's been they can't, to get across the railroad tracks or under the railroad tracks, but it's north of the railroad tracks already, they just have to bring it down.
That's not really that big of a deal.
So,
I mean, you need to
For
coordinate.
part of the town, the other part, it's already in town, it just needs to be extended to those other 2 streets.
Now we'll get the streets and we'll figure it out.
Okay. That's all the water, wastewater, fire, working on the,
We've got a board meeting next week, don't we?
yes. We're working on what Brad's gonna work on Stephen. You guys do any more thought? I haven't talked to anybody about the truck. The block truck.
The box truck from the township, the tactical, it was a tac truck.
Charles says he's willing to let it go. But
We can, if we need it,
he would help you guys with, Dave, to have that.
It would, because I can't remember if I told you guys, our thoughts on it was, we had a leak and Greenfield actually came and helped us one time. And they had a trailer that they stored like their water equipment in and such that when they went out to a job site, everything they needed was on that trailer. And that's our thought for that box truck, is we could equip that box truck that way, with our fittings and our clamps, put a pump on there and such. And so that way, when we have a water leak, we can go out there and we have everything with us. And, not that running back from, North Street to the shop to get a fitting is very time consuming in our town. But, we have it with us and we're not, 5 minutes back, a couple minutes looking for it, and we're 15 minutes. Well, guys are waiting while water's spewing or whatever it may be. We have everything there ready to go. And also, it would limit the amount of trucks we would have out on a site as well too, because we could essentially take this truck out and it'd be a one-stop trip. Okay?
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
So we want to pursue the truck if he'll give us a price.
Yeah. Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? I'll talk to him in the morning. Okay. Park?
One question.
Yep.
What kind of shape is this thing in? I didn't even know.
Does it have any miles on it? I don't think they're been drove, or?
Yeah, the fire department used it on,
It's got less than 16,000 miles.
but it doesn't have
It's
much.
04.
Yeah.
Okay,
In the
that's all I
back,
need to hear.
unless they're gonna take them out, the back already has shelves and I don't know that the departments would take those out, but.
Changing the way you want to. We haven't seen inside of it still, but,
You guys can be creative.
yeah.
You guys could keep it inside, so.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not a bad truck at all.
That's another thing we need to get bids on heat for that building.
Yeah, if we had heat in that building back here, that would help us too. Everything's there, gas line, everything's already there.
Yeah, 'cause
I've talked to a couple people, they haven't really gotten back with me, I'll follow up.
Because when we built it, we put the heat on hold, just to kind of see
Yeah.
What we need.
what we needed with it first.
There was an old furnace that came out of the Little Blue Well House, I think it was, that we had thought we could stick in there, we just gotta run electric and gas, and get gas run into it, and I mean, we really only need to keep that built like this time of year, keep it around 50 degrees.
You either got that furnace that come out of the crane building, it's still,
It'd be nice though that you could just walk in there and you know everything's,
Yeah,
They're really just wanting to kind of keep it above freezing. Right.
it stays pretty warm, I mean, until you open up the door, I mean, that thing is well insulated. But yeah, just, like I said, this time of year, just keep it around that 50-degree mark.
just let us know what you find out on it.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been talking to.
go. Park.
Kind of pretty slow for us this time of year. Not much going on out there.
Still have your walkers out there sometimes.
Yeah, walkers are still out there.
Yeah, no one's been on the walking path,
Actually, I haven't,
see what,
every day.
every day? Oh, I didn't see any foot traffic.
That's good.
Do we ever plow the walking path? I mean, do we even
We
have
don't have
anything we
anything
could?
to plow it with, if we can't take the trucks and
Right.
stuff on there, so.
Don't we have a plow for the Bobcat?
We have the bucket,
There used to be a
I thought we
plow.
bought a plow for that Bobcat.
I thought we had a small plow that used to have side, somebody used to use.
Yeah, we
sidewalks.
did.
Yeah, we do.
All the, all
Used to do all
the.
this.
Yeah.
Let's get on it.
Check, might be laying back there.
I'll double check, but I don't think we have a plow for the Bobcat.
It's like the one that uses the big parking lot.
Yeah,
It would be
it's
nice.
a little smaller, but
It's
I'm
a
sure we
box.
bought that.
Nothing else but a liquor one. Cause it would be kind of handy in small driveways and stuff. It'd be handy in Dodge Hall.
Good.
Handy truck.
And in the corners on the
Yeah,
streets, I'm sure we bought one.
I thought we had
I
one.
thought I saw him using it a couple of years ago on my street.
They used to plow all of this off with it.
Yeah.
check that out.
So we'll look into it tomorrow.
Very good.
Revitalization, I don't know of anything right now.
Never heard anything.
Miscellaneous, Brad.
I got the switch over from 9-star, from Walker IT to 9-star, and signed, just waiting on the transfer of the equipment.
I think there's only one more thing I gotta do with the Crossroads grant. And then we'll be ready for it. I can't remember, I swear I slept. I thought for like 50, we get $150,000, the way it works, which would do a lot of streets in town. So, and you can also include sidewalks in some of that, so.
I just picked up that study.
I think they only gotta come out here one more time, like at 2 o'clock, I was gonna call you. But I think it's about done. And then there's, what else is that, Lane? We're working on the wheelchair accessibility on some.
ADA.
We gotta have it done with the 29th, I think, isn't it?
That's, well, the
whatever these letters are for, that's the date on the letters to be.
Okay.
So,
And that's just kind of isn't that like our 5-year plan on what we
I think so, yes.
intend to do to upgrade or?
So it should be about complete, so. Other than that, Barry's gonna come in and get permits from you for what he already has built. And other than that, everything's great, all right.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
I need you to sign.
Oh. Oh, man.
Hey, Christie. Chance don't forget my.
Can't even.
Yes, we got moved to Greenhouse Hospital last night.
What were you?
RHI, it's up by Eagle Creek. So they think he'll be there a week or two before he gets home, and he'll have to continue rehab at home.
Wow, that's a very scary thing.
It was
Oh, that'd
terrifying.
be great.
At his worst, they only gave him
That
a
would be-
50% chance.
That would be
Hey,
great.
Larry.
Uh-oh.
And
No.